The night the snowstorm buried the city, Ethan Blackwood finally learned the truth about power. Money could buy helicopters, satellites, and entire systems to move on command. But it could not stop fear when his twin sons disappeared into the white chaos Ethan was famous for control. A self-made millionaire who never slipped, never hesitated, never showed weakness. He ran businesses with precision and scheduled emotions like calendar events. But that night, as freezing wind slammed against the glass walls of his penthouse and emergency alerts lit up his phone, control abandoned him. Noah and Lucas were only 7. Identical smiles. Identical energy. They had been riding with their nanny when the car slid on black ice. The crash itself was minor. No injuries. No damage. But in the confusion, in the screaming sirens and blinding snow, the boys panicked and ran by the time help arrived. The storm had erased every footprint. For the first time since sleeping in his car as a poor teenager, Ethan felt real fear. The kind that settles in your chest and refuses to leave. He unleashed everything: police, private security, drones, search teams. His name opened doors. His money fueled the hunt. But the storm did not care who he was. Hours passed. Then more hours. Then silence at dawn. Exhausted officers gently suggested the unthinkable. Ethan stood there in his tailored coat, snow clinging to his shoulders as his knees nearly gave out. He refused to accept dive, drove through empty streets, windshield wipers fighting falling snow, his mind replaying moments he had always postponed. The boys laughing at breakfast, begging him to stay longer, watching their faces fall when business calls pulled him away. Every evening they ran to the door, hoping tonight would be different. Guilt tightened around his heart, harder than the cold. The city slowly woke beneath a blanket of white. Ethan's car stopped outside a small roadside diner, glowing warmly against the storm. He did not know why he pulled over: instinct, desperation, or something greater. And then he saw them. Through the fogged glass sat 2 small boys, bundled in winter jackets. One orange, one red. Their hands wrapped around steaming bowls of soup. Faces tired. Cheeks flushed from the cold. Focused only on warmth for a moment, Ethan thought grief was lying to him. Then one boy turned his head, the scar above the eyebrow. Noah's scar. Ethan's breath vanished. He pushed the door open. The bell rang loudly. He stood frozen as tears formed and froze on his lashes. A young waitress stood beside the table, speaking softly to the boys. Ethan could not hear her words. He did not need to. He stepped forward slowly. "Dad." Lucas whispered at Ethan, collapsed to his knees on the checkered floor, pulling his sons into his arms, sobbing openly as the storm raged outside. The diner fell silent. The waitress explained how she had found them wandering near closing time, lost, frozen, afraid. She could not turn them away. She gave them soup, warmth, safety. Ethan held his sons like glass, realizing that while he chased numbers and power, a stranger with nothing but kindness saved what mattered most. He tried to give her money. She refused. They needed help, she said. Anyone would do the same. Ethan knew that was not true as he left the diner with his sons wrapped tightly in his coat. The snow finally began to slow the next morning. Headlines shouted about the miracle rescue of the millionaire's lost sons. But the real miracle was quiet. Ethan changed everything. He restructured his life, his company, his priorities. He funded shelters, emergency response teams, and community diners across the city. Always anonymous. Most importantly, he learned to come home early years later. When Noah and Lucas asked why he never missed a school play or a snowy evening at home, Ethan smiled. "Because once I almost lost you to the cold. And I promised myself I would never be too busy to love you again."